Staying with CES, this year Google is setting up a booth for the first time in years, and executives from Amazon, Apple, and Facebook are expected to be roaming the showrooms. Joining us now, Bloomberg tech reporter Mark Bergen, who covers Google. So Google's going to have a booth there this year. What can we expect? Why?
We can expect a lot more of last year, which was home speakers and Alexa were the big part of the show in Vegas. Now there's a lot more competitors, right? Google is pushing out its own version of its home speakers. Apple's apparently working on one. Samsung, a slew of Chinese companies are there. And I think what we're seeing this year is that a lot of the major tech companies, both here and in China, are working heavily on AI. And they're working on AI features where you have software combining with hardware.
What is Google's interest here specifically?
Right, Google's invested a lot in hardware this year. They went out and bought a big team from HTC. They have their Pixel line. Effectively, Google wants to make sure they don't cede the living room and a lot of the home spaces to competitors like Amazon, Apple, Facebook. Right, I mean, Google's aware that the future is moving to a world in which most likely, we're using devices beyond phones. We're talking to our devices. They have the big lead here on the software side, and they just want to make sure that they're still involved with everyone's lives.
My question was going to be, does it seem like anyone is in the lead when it comes to the living room? I mean, we know Amazon got a real head start with Echo on home speakers, but obviously Apple is going to be coming to market with one soon.
Yeah, I mean, people will say, Google will say, Apple will say the market is still pretty young, which it is. Amazon has a big lead with developers, which is key, right? You're having a lot more developers build software and apps effectively for the Echo. That's still pretty premature. I think there's a chance here that Google, Apple, there's some companies coming out of China that could really make a mark here.
So when we say Apple, Amazon, Facebook executives will be roaming the showrooms, what does that mean?
At a lot of the conferences, Apple executives don't even wear name tags. But we do have a sense that this will be becoming a much more priority for all those companies. They're going to be there looking for key suppliers. There are a lot of, Mark Gerben, my colleague, wrote a really good story about this, how down in supply chain you need specialized chip. You need a lot more hardware to keep up with the advances in software. And that's also where this show is major for the car companies now, right? It's the same week as the Detroit Auto Show. That sort of shows the epicenter is gravitating towards Silicon Valley and towards Vegas, as opposed to, a lot of car companies are looking at the future of electronics, at autonomy, and they'll also be prowling the showroom floor for the same reason.